Hello everyone, Melderon TV here with another vlog coming at you live from Deutschland. I'm in Europe right now visiting my significant other, visiting my girlfriend. She's at work right now, so I figured this is a perfect time to make a vlog. And this week, or this vlog's topic is going to be about ethics, morality, and law, and the interface between those three things and how they correspond to playing on a private server. So I think I've seen a lot of feedback from people, whether it's on the official WoW forums or YouTube, and about how people like me should be thrown in jail because I play on a private server. And that may sound very funny to a lot of you, but it's actually a sentiment that was held, at least, I think it's starting to wane now that Blizzard actually officially announced the launch of private servers, or excuse me, classic servers. But it was a big thing when NOS was shut down, and it's kind of hysterical. But I think it deserves a vlog to talk about the legality of private servers and if they are illegal in the sense of the word. And then we'll go into actual morality and ethics. So before I get into that, let's define all three of those things, okay? So this is highly debated between academic philosophers. And let me just start right out. Disclaimer: I am not a philosopher, nor am I a lawyer. Okay, I am neither of those two things. I'm a consumer. I play classic WoW. I play on private servers. I have done some research though before making this video, and hopefully that will be enough credibility for you in watching this and thinking that this is my opinion. Of course, these vlogs are an opinion piece. However, I want to provide some factual basis for my argument. So morality and ethics are sometimes combined by academic philosophers because of their similarities. And a lot of philosophers talk about the good and the bad, the good and the bad that kind of consume and are on top of us all. But morality really is a personal level of good and bad, and that comes from personal beliefs, including religion, or any kind of personal, individual level belief. Ethics are a little bit more, it's still a concept of good versus bad, what's acceptable versus non-acceptable, but it's more on a societal, cultural level, and you'll see it in the workplace. Very common, you'll see workplace ethics. What's ethical within the workplace, which is not. It doesn't mean that those things are illegal or legal, and we'll get into law in a second, but ethics and morality are very similar. It's just a level upon what you're talking to them about. So it could be, you have a moral belief that murder is wrong, right? And ethically, that might also be true, but those are still two different, beliefs. Your moral belief of murder is wrong, and then murder is also wrong in the workplace or by society. Those are two, they converge, meaning that they both agree. But those are two different levels of good versus evil. And finally, law, which is distinguished in part from morality and ethics by the fact that it's written by legislatures and courts. And it's enforceable. That's the big thing. You can enforce workplace ethics to your employees, but you cannot enforce workplace ethics to the whole society. And that's the difference between laws, ethics, and morality. So there is a lot of gray area here. And I'll link in the description two sources that I use to kind of research and talk about these topics. One of them is an academic paper by an author by the name of, excuse me, I'm scrolling up here, Jennifer Horner, who is a PhD and a lawyer. And then I have another one by a Arturo Perez, who is an adjunct professor at the University of Maryland University. And I'll put those in the description if you're really interested in finding out the differences between those three things. So let's go into the legality of private servers. And going back to people telling me that I should go to jail for playing on private servers. Well, let me first tell you that you cannot go to jail for playing on a private server, okay? At all, no way. It is against Blizzard's terms of service, which means technically they could ban you from playing on their retail version of the game, which for me, I don't care. For some of you, that could be a problem. But remember, in most countries, that terms of service which you accept before you start playing the game, you had no input in drafting that. And Dodgy Kebab, who is a great YouTuber, goes into this in his video, which I'll also link in the description. He goes into all of the legality of private servers. And I'm going to summarize that briefly before I go into the argument of ethical versus moral, or whether playing on private servers is ethical or moral. But as a player, you're not going to go to jail. Okay, you're not doing anything illegal. However, if you are hosting a private server, depending on the country you're hosting in, you can be brought to legal. You can have legal ramifications in court because you're dealing with the intellectual property of another company. But there's a big caveat there because there's 3 things you have to do in order for your server to be illegal, technically. One, and I'll put through the 3 somewhere on the screen, and we'll go through each one of them briefly. But the first one is, technically, you have to have stolen Blizzard's actual code. Now, if you don't know, a lot of the code of private servers is, to my knowledge, mostly, almost 100%, open source, created by the people who are hosting the servers. So that does not apply to most, if not all, private servers. The second is that you have to provide the downloading of the actual client. Now, some private servers do this. Kronos is one of them. They provide a link right on their website that says, here's the client. But other private servers don't do that, and you have to search and find the client. If that private server provides a link and provides the client, not just the link, but provides the client, then they are actually doing something that's illegal. Okay? So, finally, the third thing is if they're making money off of it. Okay? And if you play like me on Nost, if you played on Nost and, Elysium had some issues, and Light's Hope, it seems to be that for most people, they are not making a dime. Nostalrius definitely was in that category. And then you're going to say, wait a second, Melderon. Blizzard shut down Nostalrius. If they were using their own code, if they weren't making any revenue, and if they weren't providing an actual download link for the client, how are they shut down? Good question. The plain there's a lot of gray area here, but the plain answer is Nostalrius does not have a legal leg to stand on. Okay, when a big corporation threatens you with a lawsuit, you don't have the money to pay for legal fees or a lawyer, you're going to shut down. Okay, and it's not that Nostalrius wouldn't have won the case; they probably would have. They were based in France. France and the U.S. have extradition agreements, which means that you can sue across country borders. Not every country has that, which is why a lot of these private servers are untouchable because they're in places like Russia, which there is no agreement between the U.S. and Russia. NOS could have maybe won that suit, but they don't have the money to put out for lawyer fees. And all the huge legal fees for a multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation. So it's a muscle flexing. I'm not saying Blizzard's wrong for doing that. Maybe a little unethical for my standards. Again, it's subjective. But that's essentially what happened to NOS. Okay? It was muscle flexing. It was scare tactics, basically. So that's the thing. Okay? You can't go to jail for playing on a private server. Okay? You can't. You possibly can have legal ramifications, fines, or I'm not sure about jail time for hosting one if you break those 3 rules. And if you're in a country that is either in the U.S. or has extradition agreements with the U.S. These laws vary from country to country, but this is primarily how it works in the Western world. And that's just there. So let's get into the next quick part of this vlog, and that is it immoral or unethical to play on a private server? For those of you who argue that it would be immoral, you believe that we're taking money away from a company, or we're stealing the intellectual property of that said company, which is Blizzard in this circumstance. And I agree that we may take money away and we possibly are using their intellectual property, because even if it is an emulation, if it is an actual copy, open source copy, it's still pretty much the game. It's not the exact thing, so I will agree with you there. As far as taking money away, I don't think a large population of private server players are people that actually quit their subscription to play the private server. In my case, I had already quit because I didn't like where the game was going, and I wanted to experience classic WoW, so therefore I went to private server. Blizzard lost me as a customer, not because of private servers, but because of their actions and the way they changed the game for me. And then there are, of course, many, many people who still play on retail, still paying their subscription fees, and play on private servers. I don't think that many people actually left retail because of private servers. Could be totally wrong about that. I don't have any numbers to back that up. So, if that's your sole argument, that we're taking money away from the company, I'd like to, counter-argue it with that, is that if Blizzard did not do the things they did, they wouldn't have lost that revenue to begin with. And remember, this goes back to my point about being a consumer and that you have power, okay? I am a consumer. If I don't like a product, I will not buy it. And if you think I'm disloyal, I have no loyalty to anyone except for myself, my family, my friends, my job, okay? I don't have loyalty to a company because they create something that I buy. I buy it because I like it, okay? I will stay loyal, quote unquote. I will continue buying from a company if they provide a product with that which I still enjoy. So that's the whole thing. Is that you don't have to buy things if you don't like it. And if you think you have to, because Blizzard has been there for you your whole life, and they're a business. In order to exact change in the world, you have to do things to make those changes happen. So I don't believe it's unethical to play on a private server because in my eyes, I'm not doing anything that's hurting another person, okay? I left Blizzard, I left buying their products because of what they did to the product, okay? Not because of private servers. So, I don't think, so my money was already gone, is what I'm trying to explain. And yes, I am using the intellectual property, and that could be unethical, but again, not making money off of it. I'm definitely not making money off of it, and neither was the Stellaris. So there are private servers that do, and I think that is unethical, but again, it's very subjective. These are my opinions, okay? So, an immoral to me has to, morality comes from a personal belief system, okay? And for me, in order to be immoral, I have to be hurting another individual. So it may be illegal for me to speed down the highway, do 5 miles over the speed limit, which I do regularly because that's like my little thing. I mean, why not, right? As long as I don't hurt anyone in the process, like literally either hurt them physically or somehow inconvenience them, to me that's not immoral, okay? So my level of morality comes from the fact is that I don't want to bring pain or discomfort to another human being, if I can, or an animal, if I can. So that to me is why it's not immoral. If people who do think it's immoral or unethical, please put in the comments why. I like to understand more of that mindset because I don't understand it personally. And I like to end by saying something, and it may come off a little, up here or like, I don't know. I think people might think it's a little overboard what I'm about to say, but remember, you can be ethical or moral and be illegal. And I'll give you a very example of that. 2 examples of that. And they're both with human rights, civil rights. And Martin Luther King Jr., if you live under a rock, or not from this country, that's totally possible, that you don't know who he is, but he was an African-American advocate for African-American rights in the U.S. under Jim Crow era when you could legally separate businesses or schools based upon someone's color of their skin, okay? He was a huge advocate in that fight for civil rights in the U.S. during the 60s and the 50s. So technically what he was proposing by desegregation was illegal by the standard of the U.S. U.S. government at that time and the Constitution, because there was no amendment to that. But was what he, I hope that all of you would agree, what he was doing was not unethical or immoral. It was definitely ethical. It was for the greater good. And then we have Nelson Mandela, very similar thing in South Africa during apartheid, which was basically segregation as well. These people were proposing illegal things. They were illegal at the time, but they are not immoral or unethical. And you might be seeing a parallel what I'm doing here. I'm no way saying that us in the classic WoW community are as impactful as Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela. I'm not saying that at all. However, what I'm saying is, if you want things to change in this world, you have to do something about it. You can't just sit there and say, well, I'm going to keep playing this game, even if you don't like it. If you do like it, that's fine. I didn't like it. I didn't like Legion. I didn't like Warlords. I didn't like, BFA. I'm not going to play BFA. But the thing is like, that's not a product I want to be a part of. So what am I going to do about it? I'm not going to just keep playing that product. I'm going to do something about it. And for me, it was playing on a private server and creating a YouTube channel. And it's been a great ride. And as you can see, thank you so much for all the new subs. Thank you so much for everyone who's been involved in our channel. And, and you can see if what's happening is coming out as true from Tips Out, if that is true, then this has not been all for naught. We've been working on this for a long time, and we're actually seeing results. So, I am no way saying I'm Martin Luther King Jr., because I'm not the sole. I'm a very small gear in this whole machine, and so is Defcamp. But there are much bigger gears here at work, and I want to thank those people. But it is awesome to be part of a community and be part of a movement, and that's how I feel about this movement. So just remember, the take-home message is, guys, law, morality, and ethics are they can intertwine. You can be all three of those things, essentially. It's hard to be all three of those things, and that's debated. But you can be one and not the other, okay? You can be ethical and moral and not legal. So, things are not as clear as you'd think in this argument. And I'd like to thank everyone, Dodgy Kebab as well, for his great video explaining why it's not illegal per se to play on a private server. The ethical and morality part is a little more gray area, so if you guys want to discuss that in the comments, civilly, please grow up. Please grow up. Use words, not slurs and curses. There's apparently a lot of that going on in the community, and that's unacceptable. If you use words like that in the comment section, that comment will be removed. If you use it in Discord, you'll be banned. Plain and simple. None of that is going to happen. As far as I can monitor it, I will. So anyway, let's as a community, we've done some great things. Let's grow up and work together. Let's not be children about it. And I'll put up another vlog about what I would like to see when classic servers do launch, and we'll talk about that in another time. All right, so time for Melderon IRL quickly. So I think that today I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing right now. I'm in Germany. I come here often, and the plan is to move here when I'm done my PhD in December with my partner, and she is. We will be living in the northwestern section of Germany. So I really enjoyed here. I feel like the culture is very, very interesting, much more in depth than I previously imagined before I came here. This is my fourth or fifth time here, and it's an amazing place. The language will be difficult. If anyone has any suggestions of how to learn German quickly and efficiently, let me know. I love it here, though. It's a beautiful place. The scenery is beautiful. It's a very rural area. I'm from a big city, so it's a pretty interesting change. But even though it's rural, you can get into cities very fast because Germany is a large country for Europe, but coming from the U.S., it's not that big, so you can drive and see like vast changes in scenery very quickly. Scenery meaning human scenery, not actual. So I'm in this rural area, but I'm only an hour away from a major city. So it's very nice to be an hour away from another country. No, I'm sorry, 15 minutes away from another country. So it's like, it's an amazing experience for an American to be in a situation like that. And I'm really looking forward to being here and to learning a lot more about the culture, and to hopefully one day read a German book, or, give a talk in German or something like that. Maybe even do a video in German for you German people out there. So I don't know, if anybody has any suggestions or anything like that, it'd be really helpful and appreciated. I do like it here a lot, and I think that it's pretty wonderful. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. The next one's probably going to be what's my favorite. So if you notice, I'm doing a little pattern here. I'm doing like more of a, I wouldn't say fluffy, but more of a, what's my favorite kind of vlog, and then I go into a more serious vlog, and then, I'm trying to do that, like one and one. So, next one will probably be what's my favorite race for each faction, which will be kind of fun. I have some interesting insights on that, I think. And then the one after that will be something to do with, I won't give it away, but it's something to do with what I would like to see on opening day. And what I think is most beneficial for our community. So, all right, guys. Again, thank you for all the new subs. Thank you for all the new activity. Thank you for the Alex and SFan for the shout outs. We really appreciate that. We know you guys don't do that out of, you're doing it out of love. We don't, we never, I don't want, I just say we appreciate it. Let's put it that way. And I'm mincing over my words here, but I do appreciate all of the input. And it's good to have some recognition. And I know we've tried to do better, to make better videos and to make more concise and coherent videos as well. And Defcamp's doing a great job with the new videos, and I think we're both learning a lot, and things will just keep getting better, hopefully. So, all right, everyone, have a great day or night. Enjoy life, and see you all soon. Take it easy.